Okay, so when you think about the Norse afterlife, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's gotta be Valhalla, right? That glorious hall of Odin, just packed with feasting warriors, all getting ready for Ragnarok. But what about everybody else? See, this is where it gets really interesting, because the story of the Norse underworld is really the story of its queen.
And that's the big question, isn't it? Because for all the epic stories of heroic axe-wielding deaths, the simple truth is the vast majority of people, Viking or not, didn't die that way. No, they died of old age, of sickness, of some random accident. Their journey didn't end in the arms of a Valkyrie, but in a much colder, much quieter realm. And this lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got Valhalla, this super exclusive club for fallen heroes. But on the other, you have Helheim. And that's the destination for, well, pretty much everyone else. This is the domain we're going to explore, and it's ruled by one of the most compelling and honestly misunderstood figures in the entire pantheon. So let's meet her.
You know, to really get a handle on the Queen of Helheim, you've gotta start with her family. And trust me, her family tree is basically a who's who of chaos, tied directly to the forces that threaten the very existence of the gods.
I mean, just look at this lineup. Her dad, the one and only trickster god Loki, her mom, the giantess Angerboda, and her brothers, just Jormungandr, the world serpent that encircles the entire world, and Fenrir, the great wolf destined to devour Odin himself. Hell was literally born from chaos.
So you've got Odin and the other gods, and they are absolutely terrified of these kids, thanks to some pretty grim prophecies. Odin does what he does best. He takes some drastic action. He throws Jormungandr into the sea, he tricks Fenrir into being bound by unbreakable chains, and then there's Hel. He banishes her, casting her down into the misty depths of Niflheim, and basically tells her, "You're in charge of the dead now." But instead of fighting it, she embraced it. She accepted her domain and became queen of the silent world. Okay, so what's this queen actually like? And what about her kingdom? This is where her story gets so fascinating, because she is the perfect embodiment of the realm she rules. Well, her appearance is probably one of the most unforgettable things about her. The old stories say that one side of her body was just beautiful, fair, alive, the very picture of a living woman, while the other side was the decaying blue-black flesh of a corpse. And this isn't just for shock value. It's got some deep, deep meaning. Right there, her entire body is a symbol of her job. She is literally the bridge between the memory of life and the cold reality of death. She is the physical manifestation of mortality itself. Not quite alive, not quite dead, but something in between. And her kingdom, Helheim, it's just like her. Now, I want you to get those images of fire and brimstone right out of your head. Helheim is cold. It's dark. It's quiet. It's a realm of stillness, not active torture. This is a huge deal culturally speaking. It's not heaven, it's not hell, it's just a somber, quiet continuation of existence. And it's totally separate from Nostrand, the corpse shore, where the truly evil, like murderers and oathbreakers, are chewed on by the dragon Nidhogger. Hell's realm isn't for the wicked, it's for the ordinary. So, who are her subjects? The unheroic dead. And this is maybe the most important thing to get. We're talking about the elderly, people who got sick, anyone who was just plain unlucky. In other words, us, most people. Her main job is to be the queen and caretaker for all the ordinary souls whose lives ended without a sword in their hand. Now, the biggest story we have about Hel, it's a total tragedy, one that rocks Asgard to its core. It's the ultimate test of her power, her principles, and the unbending laws that she represents. It all starts when the god Bald, or who everyone loves, gets killed thanks to one of Loki's messed up schemes. The gods are heartbroken, completely devastated, so they send a messenger, Hermod, all the way down to Helheim to beg her to let him go. And you know what? Hel actually agrees. But there's a catch, a big one. She says he can return only if every single thing in the cosmos, alive or not, weeps for him. And everything does. Except for one old giantess in a cave who, of course, turns out to be Loki in disguise. And just like that, the deal is off. The condition wasn't met. Hel's word is law. Balder has to stay. And this moment tells you everything you need to know about her. She's not being evil here. She's not being cruel. She set a rule. The rule was broken. End of story. It doesn't matter that he's the son of Odin. This story shows she isn't some demon. She's a stern, impartial enforcer of the fundamental rules of the universe. And death? Well, death is absolute.
So what does all of this tell us about how the Norse people saw the world? Hel's role really reveals something profound about their understanding of life, death, and destiny. In this, right here, this is the absolute core of it. While the sagas are full of stories celebrating bravery and a glorious death on the battlefield, Hel's enormous silent kingdom is a constant reminder that for most people, fate has a different plan. Destiny, or weird as they would have called it, is this massive, powerful force. And hey, not everyone's fate is to end up in Valhalla. Yeah, she's the great equalizer. She represents that quiet, unavoidable end that's waiting for pretty much every single person who lives a normal life. In a culture that was so focused on the glory of the warrior, Hel is this powerful, somber reminder that death comes for everyone, whether it's in a blaze of glory or in a quiet room. Which leaves us with this final question, right? We tend to paint her as this dark, villainous figure. But is she really a villain, or is she something way more complex? Maybe a grim but totally necessary judge who keeps the cosmos in balance? Or maybe she's just the face of fate itself, impartial, inevitable, and waiting for all of us in the quiet at the end.